Hi, I'm KMSKM. Today, we're asking what really makes up the United States of America. Beyond the familiar 50 states, the U.S. is a patchwork of unique regions, each with its own story. We'll explore the states, the Federal District of Washington, D.C., and far-flung territories from Puerto Rico to remote Pacific atolls. This journey will reveal a political map far more intricate than you might expect. We'll touch on history, law, and the ongoing debates about representation and self-determination. Buckle up. Let's uncover the real United States. Let's start with the foundation, the 50 states. From Delaware to Hawaii, each state is more than just a spot on the map. They're semi-sovereign entities with their own governments, laws, and constitutions. This is federalism power divided between the national government and the states. Laws, taxes, and rights can differ dramatically from state to state. Every state has 2 senators, regardless of size, but House representation is based on population. States manage education, infrastructure, and local law enforcement. Most of your daily interactions with government happen at the state level. So the 50 states are 50 distinct political systems, each with its own history and culture, all bound together in a single republic. Understanding their role is key to understanding America itself. The states are the primary building blocks of the nation. They're not just land, they're living, evolving political communities. That's the real meaning behind those 50 stars. Now, let's talk about Washington, D.C., the Federal District. It's not a state, and it's not part of any state. It was created to keep the national government independent. Over 700,000 people live here, but they lack full representation in Congress. D.C. residents pay federal taxes but have no voting senators and only a non-voting House delegate. They gained the right to vote for president in 1961, but Congress still has the final say over local laws and budgets. This unique status fuels ongoing debates about D.C. statehood and representation. D.C. is the heart of American democracy, yet its residents don't enjoy the same rights as those in the states. It's a city, a federal district, and a symbol of unresolved questions about representation. The struggle for D.C. rights continues to shape national debates. Its status is a reminder that American democracy is still a work in progress. Beyond the mainland, the U.S. includes 5 major inhabited territories: Puerto Rico, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, and the Northern Mariana Islands. Nearly 4 million people live in these territories, most as U.S. citizens, except American Samoans, who are U.S. nationals. Residents can't vote for president and have no voting senators, only non-voting House delegates. Each territory has a unique relationship with the federal government. Some are commonwealths with their own constitutions, others are governed by acts of Congress. American Samoa stands out. It's unorganized with a traditional system of chieftains, and its people must naturalize to become citizens. There are also uninhabited territories, tiny Pacific atolls and reefs, mostly managed as wildlife refuges. The insular cases, a series of Supreme Court decisions, allow Congress to govern these territories differently from states. The political status of places like Puerto Rico remains hotly debated, with movements for statehood, independence, or new forms of association. These territories are more than dots on a map. They're communities with real people and real challenges. Their status highlights the complexities and contradictions of American democracy. The story of the territories is still being written. They remind us that the U.S. is more than just the 50 states. Their future remains an open question. Now let's visit the obscure corners. Disputed territories. These are mostly uninhabited islands claimed under the 1856 Guano Islands Act. Think Bajo Nuevo Bank and Serenilla Bank in the Caribbean, and Wake Island in the Pacific. The U.S. claims them, but so do other countries like Colombia and the Marshall Islands. These disputes are relics of a bygone era, more about history and legal footnotes than daily life. The U.S. doesn't actively press these claims, but hasn't given them up either. They're reminders that borders and sovereignty are often messy and unresolved. These gray areas are the frayed edges of the American map. Even the smallest, most remote places have a story in the nation's complex geography. So how many states? The answer is just the beginning. The United States is a federation of states, a unique federal district, and a collection of territories, each with its own story and struggles. Debates over D.C. and Puerto Rican statehood and the rights of territorial residents are ongoing and shape the nation's identity. Understanding these divisions is key to understanding what it means to be American. There's much more to explore. Every state, district, and territory has its own rich history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey, like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's complexities. Until next time.